Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Scribs and I'll be showing you two ways that we will going to make an OC today. We're going to use a generator and then the other type is from my mind. When we're creating from our minds, we have to think about the body type, which there are many variations of. You can start off with skinny, curvy, or fat, and then from there it turns into body shapes of like the triangle, the pear, the rectangle, stuff like that. Then the other thing to talk about is the height and the face shape, and from there you focus on things like the facial features. Today we are going to start with one of these names and go through all of these steps to create an original character. Now that our character is selected, let's create Cameron. So the Procreate overview makes it sound so much simpler than it seems to be. But as you can see, I started off with trying to figure out what face shape I'd want to do, which facial features, and I started off with thinking about her besides her name. I decided I want to create somebody a little bit older and somebody who's a businesswoman. So in my mind, I think Cameron is in her 30s. Most of my characters are early 20s, late teens, I think. And I started thinking about them around when they were much, much younger, like 12 and stuff. So this is where I started off. I did a little character turnaround to get familiar with her proportions. If you've seen one of my videos, you know that I talk about how that really helps you draw your character the same way every time. I think I'll link that video if I remember to. Then I started thinking about her body, and so I decided that she enjoys dating and like meeting a bunch of new people, but she doesn't want to settle down. She loves going out with friends. She loves to exercise, like yoga, spin class, running, doing all this stuff. And I decided that she's pretty high up in her business. She's a very stern and serious person, so I wanted that to come across in her. And I wanted her to seem like cold to the people who don't know her, but to the people that do, they know that she's honestly like such a joy to be around. She's like the life of the party. She's very outgoing when she's not in the workplace. I chose her palette, like her skin color, her tones, everything, based on two things. One, I went on a generator online to try to figure out a different skin tone, and then the other thing that I did was I used her personality that I was thinking about, the sort of quiet within like the business that she works at, but like outgoing elsewhere. I decided that her business clothes would be muted, cool and warm tones, because then it seems like more like shy, more reserved, even though that's not truly who she is. So then I tried to do a lot of poses. At this point in time, some stuff had started happening in my life that made it a lot more difficult to sketch, but I ended up pulling through. That's why this video isn't a lot longer than I wanted it to be. It isn't as long as I wanted it to be, though it was very difficult to make. I do want to do these yoga poses eventually, but I was really struggling to do it. I think that I just wanted the pose to feel a bit more exaggerated, so I needed to do a lot more squash in her torso. And then I wanted to do this other pose where she's like stretching and doing a yoga pose where her hands are out. And then I just realized like I cannot do anything that's too complicated with the hands right now. So I moved into doing some running poses instead. I didn't draw all the way down to the feet because that was making me even more stressed out. But I think I did a good job. I decided for her to be an older woman. She's gonna have like a little bit of, she's not going to be incredibly skinny or anything. I just wanted her to have like an average body type, you know, a little chub around the belly, a little fat around the belly, and I thought that was like fine. Like I know a lot of people who are older that have, who aren't as like, I wouldn't say like extremely curvy or anything, and I felt like, you know, there's no reason to draw her curvy. She can look however I want her to. Y'all, it is so hot. I have this little fan here, but I know if I turn it on, I think you can hear that, right? So I decided to leave it off. Okay, so now I'm doing character expressions to get to know her a little more, and in a little bit, like how she would react to situations. I'm doing like a late night epiphany. She's working late. She's has too much coffee. Her pupils are like incredibly small, and she's like, "I've got it." Praise. And then I'm doing another one where she's like annoyed, maybe in line at a coffee shop, or maybe annoyed in like a business meeting online or something. And so now I'm gonna go over the steps that I did. The first thing I did was think of 3 facts, including her name. So her name was Cameron. She's a businesswoman and she's older. From there, I thought about an older, like 30s. So then I thought about typical women in their 30s in the media. And did I want to go with a typical character? Did I want to subvert that? And I decided to go for somebody who was cool at work, really reserved, and then fun outside, life of the party, someone who's really about her work, but knows that her job is just her job, not her whole life, and so she doesn't want everything too involved in that. She keeps her work and her play separate. That's how I decided on her character. And then I didn't draw her in like a party outfit or anything. I could have, but I did decide to do one business outfit and 2 like partial body poses. It's not a full body because again, I didn't want to dress shoes and stress myself out. I practiced doing like a view of her from behind to get myself more familiar with the character, and also because I want to get better at drawing poses from behind in general and backs in general, which I will be creating a video about that. But that is my process for coming up with it in my mind. And then we are going to go into the second part, which is the generator. And I completely forgot about the generator because I was like, this video is so short, but I forgot. There's a whole nother part to this. Yeah, so I'm using my brush again, a different brush than the one I used for her bust before. And I was rambling a little bit earlier, and I like cut all that out because I realized I wanted to talk a little bit more about the tutorial. So let me be quiet for a minute, let you watch my process. But before we get into the final design, if you'd like help with your OC, you can become a Patreon just for $5, or become a patron just for $5, and message me, and then from there, I'll create a whole video responding to things you can do to make your character more well-rounded. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the second part. So this character, Averill Priestley, came from a generator. I wrote down all the important details about him that I thought would be pertinent to his character design, and then I started sketching out some silhouettes. I remembered that he had short legs and that he had like no real body shape, and then from there I tried to sketch out some ideas. Now, I started off with just the thick eyebrows, the cold puffy hazel eyes, and the flat nose, since that's what I was given. And then from there I tried to think of his hairstyle, since they said he had short, dull brown hair. So I was looking up a bunch of short hairstyles, and none of them really felt right for a big-headed debate guy who has a pet lizard, until I landed on this last one. And then I started with the bust. So I didn't do anything too official here. I just used my sketch liner and went with that. I started with his olive skin being like actually olive, and then I thought about the rest of his description, and I ended up changing him to be more lighter skinned, I think. When I look at it on my computer, it looks so yellow, and then I think on my iPad it looks a lot more natural. Yeah, it looks way more natural than on my iPad, and I wonder if it's my night focus. So I only did a profile for him, and then from there I decided to start sketching him saying hi and being friendly, and I decided to do this kind of redraw from this All Grown Up episode, the only episode of All Grown Up that I really ever watched, where Chucky's like, I'm gonna walk right up to her and I'm gonna say, and then she looks at him and he's like, hi. So I decided to draw him saying hi first, and then the second time around I drew him being like full of passion, ready to talk to her, whoever the her is. So I thought about him being in debate as well, and I kept that in mind for his outfits. But then I realized I should have done a 3/4 view profile because his face just wasn't matching up. So once I did that, I adjusted the proportions to fit that, and I think he looks a lot more like himself now. So yes, this is the first sketch that I did. No, this is the first panel, quote unquote. And I'm trying to remember what I did after this. After this, I think I did the full body pose. So this was just to familiarize myself with his body. I didn't actually end up sketching it out too much. I gave him the short legs, right? And I did this like relaxing pose. And then I was gonna draw him from behind, but I was having too much difficulty with that, and I just didn't want to put myself through that at the moment because I was supposed to finish this video a while ago and I didn't. And so then I just drew his outfit. I didn't really draw his face, but I like just loosely sketched it. And I gave him a notepad, but I forgot to give him his messenger bag. But that is how you can create these characters these 2 ways. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.